Hi, welcome to another OnShape tutorial. The part we're going to be catting today is shown on the screen. It's actually an isometric grid, so to know the dimensions, we can count each of these units on the grid, because the isometric grid is made up of cubes, so you can see the dimensions of three-dimensional objects. So, like this part, we're going to say it's in inches, so this would be 1 inch, because it goes one length of a cube. This one's also 1 inch. Then the sides would be 2 inches. Up here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And up here should be +1, plus another 1, 7. And height should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, so let's go to OnShape. I created a new document called Practice Part 1. And we'll start the sketch. So I'm going to start the sketch on this side. So we'll create this side first and extrude. So we're going to create a sketch. Front plane. And we're going to create a rectangle for this part and then create another rectangle inside of it for this part. Now I'm making this coincident so the inner rectangle is going to be touching this line on the other rectangle. Time to start adding some dimensions. So it has to be 2 units tall, the inner rectangle, and 5 units long. And we're just going to go in inches. 2 and 5. And then the outer rectangle has to be 7 long, 4 high. And then we want this rectangle to be an inch from either side. So we're going to click one side, click the other, and 1 inch. Okay, so that's the basic rectangle setup, but since we're extruding everything from the back, we can also draw this staircase part over here and this other part. So we just have to count. So we can just count from this way, since isometric grids allow you just to draw the lines here. So we can count the height of this, or we can just do it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And each of these staircases are 1 height, and their total length is 1, 2. Great, so we're just going to go here, draw another rectangle on top of this one. And then what we're going to do is, since I won't have to put the other one on a diagonal, I can't actually automatically make a coincident. So now I can click coincident from here to here, and now they're going to be touching. Yay, constraints. And so that should be 7, yes. And then how tall? 4. Okay, D, and I can just use this line instead of having to click the top and bottom. 4, and time for the epic staircase, so be over here. Okay, I'm just drawing 4 rectangles, and then we can dimension it after we draw them. So as you can see, the 7 dimension's kind of in the way. And what you could do if you want to move a dimension is you can just like move it all around. Just click on it with your mouse and you can move it anywhere. Okay, so to dimension these shapes, we want them each to be 1 inch. So, darn, I've hit the wrong thing. But anyway, we also want them to be 2 inches wide. So, and if I adjust this one, it should adjust all of them since they're all coincident. Great, now time for height. And I don't need this dimension since I defined all the other ones, and that creates an error because if you make a dimension that could physically change, but it would be truly unchangeable, it creates this error since I have all the constraints making sure that these shapes will all fit in. Since this is already 4 inches, if I add each of these as 1 inch, it creates an extra dimension that even if I change it, nothing on the sketch could physically change, so it's over constrained, and that's why that error occurred where everything turned red. So I'm going to finish the sketch and start extruding. So the back is 2 inches, and then the staircase, the first one's 3, and then 4, and then 5, then 6. This appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's start extruding. So you can easily select parts. So let's go here. The back's supposed to be 2. And we're going blind since we're just going for distance. And we're going to make sure our sketch is still visible so we can keep on extruding. Since after you extrude, typically the sketch turns invisible. Okay, let's extrude this bottom part next, which is 7. Time for the staircase, which the first one is 3. Next one's 4, 5, then 6. So just using the extrude tool, you can make really interesting shapes that you can just do a lot with. 1, 2, 3. That's 3, that's 4, this would be 5. And the final one. So you see, we can get it, but if we couldn't quite get this, we can use the view cube to shift to ensure that we can click the right part of the sketch. And 6. And there we go. That would be the most of the staircase, but there's still this part over here that we need to have this angle for. So this angle goes 1 down here, and then it's 4 high. To add in this angle, we're going to create a sketch on this side of the shape and then extrude from that sketch. So create another sketch and make it right here. So now we're actually drawing on this side of the shape. So we're just going to create a line to connect it, since that's the same as this line, and then make the distance from this part of the shape to the end of the line 1 inch. I'm first going to draw 2 lines here, because the line we're making has to be fully contained, because when we're trying to extrude, it has to be a closed surface, and even though these lines are here, they aren't part of the sketch, so we have to do that. Okay, now let's dimension this line to be 1 inch. And then let's add in 1 more line. There you go. And now all we have to do is extrude it, and it has to be 1, 2, 3 inches wide. So extrude 3. And this is clearly the wrong direction. To switch the direction of the extrude, you just have to hit these arrows right here. And now it's in the other direction. Hit the check mark, and it's clearly a different shape. That's actually because I forgot to hit join. You see, when I was making this part, it was on a separate sketch, so it automatically wants to be a separate body within the assembly. So to change this, it's very easy to change mistakes you make in OnShape. You can just click on the extrude, and now it appears here. And I don't want to make a new body. I want to add to a previous body. And since there's only one other body, it assumes it's this one. Otherwise, I'd have to click the part. Check. And there we go, we have it. Let's make sure. Looks good here. So next tutorial, we're going to learn more about arrays and circles. So see you all soon. Except I wouldn't actually see you, and I have no idea how to do an outro. It's kind of embarrassing. Imagine I'm good at outros. I'm going to actually keep this in the video.